got
a couple.
Like I said, we're going to do our honorable mentions. Then number one, if you have one that you're questioning that you want to save as number one, save it for number one. My honorable mention is the 2004 Olympic softball team, in particular Crystal Bustos, because she was an absolute monster, jacking home run after home run after home run to help the United States win gold in those 2004 Olympic games. Now, of course, it was a team sport. Jenny Finch, Kat Osterman, they were all important to the team. But Crystal Bustos was the offense. And she is my favorite member of that team because of her just absolute power. I think there was one game she had 3 home runs. That might not be correct, but I'm pretty sure I remember watching her hit 3 home runs in one game.
That's impressive. I don't really remember that off the top of my head, but not a big baseball or softball person. So
I vaguely remember the softball team being very good that year, but until you said Finch, I couldn't have named a person on that roster.
I don't think they lost at all.
I believe it.
That Olympics.
I wasn't watching softball. So.
All right, so that's my honorable mention. What have you got, Tony?
I do not have any honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. What about you, Chuckles?
I do not have an American notable mention or honorable mention, but I do, when I was reading and researching, I came across this man named Lawrence Lemieux, and he was a Canadian sailor, so kind of North America.
Oh, I mean, if we're
continent, I guess.
If we're going to do that, we'll do my favorite Olympian is a tennis player, and that's my boy Andy Murray.
Oh, no, I get it. And that's cool, too. But I never heard of this guy beforehand. The only thing that was really cool about this story was that in the middle of the competition, in the sailing competition, and I want to remember what year this was. It was in the 1988 South Korean Games.
Oh, nice, in Seoul.
Yeah. He was on pace to get the silver medal in the sailing competition when another boat capsized and the guys were underneath, and he jumped off his boat, disqualifying himself, saving the other 2 guys, getting back on his boat, and still placed 21st out of 32.
Wow. That's not bad.
I do vaguely remember hearing about that story, and it was obviously amazing.
I do actually have one other honorable mention. It's not necessarily Olympics, and tell me if you guys accept this, but it was July 4th, 1776, when the soon-to-be United States won the first ever international war games between the United States and Great Britain. Does that count?
No.
Sure. Does that count?
No, that doesn't.
That's just a war.
Oh.
They carved the medals out of wood?
They carved the medals out of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mention, Dan O'Shea.
All right. I had Michael Johnson on here and also Ali. I also have Joe Frazier. He broke his thumb in the semifinal, and then still fought in the final and won gold with a broken thumb. And he was the only person that knew that he had a broken thumb. He hid it from everyone else.
I mean, it's easy. It's kind of easy to hide under a glove.
Yeah, but still punching with that.
Still
oh
gotta be
God,
tough.
that must have hurt.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that. Oh, it's easy. You got a glove. I'm saying it's easy to hide because no one can see your actual hand.
Yeah.
And then my other honorable mention remaining is Greg Louganis. And it's not
Oh,
because of that
God.
wonderful last name, but winning with a cracked skull. That's
it's
impressive.
still a hard video to watch.
Seriously, oh my God. I don't get queasy easily, but watching him crack his head open and the blood just pouring into the pool, oh my God.
It looks like an egg just cracks open. Ugh.
Especially at Olympic events,
Then he goes
things
back
like
and
that,
wins.
that you hear the board and everything. The thud that his head makes hitting that board is so, if that doesn't give you a chill every time that you hear it, I don't know what would.
And then it gets exacerbated by the fact that he has AIDS, so they have to drain the pool and all of that, clean it, and then refill it so that they can use it. Although still not as dirty water as they had in Brazil this past time.
Oh yeah, that's
true. That was a health
I
hazard.
could not
That's why
understand why that was
I
happening.
don't like how the Olympics can just kind of go anywhere. Like there should be
the highest bidder.
certain standards. Yeah,
I think it should just bounce around in 3 countries. Just United States, England, France. United States, England, France. Just do
I
that.
don't think you can do it that way. You
Yeah, I don't
got to
know.
give them at least somewhere in Asia. Give
Yeah.
China, for God's sake.
China did a great job.
yeah. Beijing was.
China can do it.
I mean, they
done,
hit
but-
an ugly girl who was actually singing to showcase a pretty girl who wasn't actually
Yeah.
singing. But whatever, human rights don't matter.
Don't
These
give
are
it to
big
Russia, though.
economic
They're a
boosts.
disaster.
These are big economic boosts for some of these countries that
Well,
would never really.
It's actually
Long-term,
initially,
it's not.
it's
It's
really
not.
bad for a lot of countries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
up front. But when you have the foot traffic coming through and the money being spent during the actual events,
Yeah, but once the event's over,
And
a lot of
All the
stuff
places
just
get
goes dormant.
condemned.
And
Yeah.
most of the money doesn't go to the local places. It's international corporations that are selling in the
Construction
Olympics,
companies.
and it's the IOC that takes the majority of the funds.
Athens made like $250 million when American dollars when they had the
And
Olympics,
Greece is still in a crisis?
and then they lost like 6.5 billion because of it.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
really
you
not
don't
good.
have good infrastructure, it's terrible.
yeah,
that's true.
Is that it for your honorable mentions?
yeah, yep.
Dan Beebie, what have you got?
I also had Greg Louganis, but Dan did a good job of summing it up. So I'll go with my second one, the 1980 U.S. men's hockey team. Now,
I'll talk about that in depth. They're my number one.
Oh, really? Wow, you're just doing all the cliches, Dan O'Shea.
Might as well. Someone's got
I'm
it.
with them on that. I still think the greatest American sports team.
All right, so let's get into our number ones. For me, it's a Winter Olympian. I believe my first Winter Olympian,
Apollo.
Apollo Antonono.
Is it really?
It 100% is.
Oh, man.
He-
Nailed it. Swish.
He is the only reason anyone knows what speed skating is.
I don't know. Brian Boitano. What
That's
would Brian
ice
Boitano
skating.
do?
Yeah,
That's ice skating.
It's
It's
all
figure
skate.
skating.
It's all ice
No,
skating.
it's different.
No.
Speed skating is
I know.
great.
Figure
No,
skating
Jet
is on
I remember
TV
that
on
guy.
Sundays still, whereas speed skating is on if you have like a sports package and you stumble along the long channel.
I had never heard of speed skating until I woke
The
up.
Ocho, speed
Yeah.
skating.
Until I woke up at
That's
5
where it
a.m.
is.
one day to watch the Olympics, and it was the only thing that was on. So I'm like, you know what? Let me watch it. So I watched it, and it was good. It was real good. I got hooked immediately, and Apollo Anton Ono just won everything. And then he won Dancing with the Stars, but that's later on. But he just incredible, super fast, and
wasn't Jerry Rice on Dancing with the Stars, too?
like every NFL player
Yeah,
has been. Yeah.
Emmett Smith has been there. Herschel.
I think it's a rule when you retire.
Jennings
you have
just won.
do it.
Rashard Jennings just won.
Yeah,
Good, at least he
whatever.
won
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, but
He has a trophy.
Apollo Anton Ono, the most decorated speed skater in speed skating history. The only other person that I can name that's ever been a speed skater is Shawnee Davis.
Dan Jansen.
Oh, Dan Jansen. You're right. Dan Jansen. Okay, so there's three. There's
You
three.
pulled that out of a hole.
There are three speed skaters that I can name. So, Apollo Anton Ono is the Michael Phelps of the Winter Olympics. 100%. That's why he's my number one. That and the name.
It's
You know
a
me.
pretty sweet name.
I love names.
You do love names.
That's a good name.
It is a sweet name for an athlete. I feel like you had to be that or an astronaut.
Yeah, right.
Those are the only two you get. You're
Yeah.
either a pro athlete or
Musician.
you're an astronaut.
Could be a
That's it.
musician.
Louis Armstrong.
All right.
Mm.
So, Tony, I believe we know who yours is.
Well, I'm not going to go into crazy detail. I'm sure Dan's got way more stats on him. But yes, my team is the Miracle on Ice 80 hockey team. Just the story alone of really, to me personally, signifies the American spirit in general with this hockey team. As
Let me-
far as the unwavering ability to never give up, to keep fighting, even when the odds seem like they're nowhere close to being in your favor,
But
to
that,
battle and win against a team full of, as you were complaining about the Dream Team, stacked with professional hockey players.
they didn't beat them in the gold medal game, though. That's the whole thing that really pisses me off about this.
That's fine.
They didn't. That wasn't the gold medal game.
It was the game, like you were talking about how UConn was the game before the show for whoever
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. They were the team to beat. You know, if you beat them, you were going to win gold, which they did.
And what happened? Mississippi State lost.
Okay, but
The
that
men's hockey
didn't
team
happen
didn't.
to the
Men's
USA
hockey
team.
Won.
The U.S. hockey team, that might as well have been the gold medal around. I don't care who came out of the next round. That was, if America was going to win, they needed to win then. And they did it when they were completely undermatched in every aspect of the game. They were undermatched in this scenario. For them to win proves that at one time, for one game, anybody can beat anybody else in anything.
Did you ever see the movie Friday Night Lights?
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah. So, in the movie, spoiler alert, I apologize. In the movie,
It's only like 20 years old.
the Permian Panthers faced the Dallas Carter, whatever they were, in the championship, in Texas State championship game. That didn't happen.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
second
false-
round
yeah.
of the playoffs. And they make it seem like the Dallas Carter team was completely stacked. The only player they had that went to a legitimate college was LeVar Arrington, who went to Penn
Okay,
State.
so what does this have
Where's
to do with
the
anything?
point that you're making in this?
That's the same kind of bogus lies that they perpetuated in Miracle.
No, it's not. No
No,
one's
it's
lying,
not.
saying that this is the gold medal game. Nowhere during that movie did they claim
Soviets
to be such a
had
thing.
won 6 of the 7 previous Winter Olympic golds. They had professional players on their team. The Americans were all amateurs.
All
Like this
college
Roland
players.
Gardner
That's-
upset.
well, that's like Olympic hockey for the Americans today, because all the hockey players in the NHL are not American.
Yeah, because
There's
for
a
all those
couple.
years we were getting our butts whooped. And we were like, if we want a good product, we got to go over to where it's cold all the time.
Forget this. I'm gonna play basketball.
This is a cold weather sport. Russia, Serbia, Canada, go find them.
Yeah, Finland.
Yeah, Norway.
Yeah, America only had 1 former Olympian on the team. The rest were brand new. 9 of them were players that had been for
Minnesota.
University of Minnesota
BU,
under coach Herb Brooks.
Who was played by what's his name? Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the
I
movie.
hate
What
Kurt Russell.
a selection.
I hate Kurt Russell. I'd rather have had Samuel L. Jackson.
That would have been amazing.
So
actually.
much better.
When they have a movie about PK Subban, he better be played by
I think he's a little old to play.
Samuel L.
Don't
Jackson.
do it.
Right. Well, just think about this too. Al Michaels probably wouldn't have his job on Sunday Night Football if it wasn't for that game.
That's true. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
I mean, I'm not all that sold on Al Michaels. I just want John Madden back.
Listen, we know you're a natural born hater.
Yeah.
Nobody's denying this.
Hate.
Yes. You are this podcast alone should get you nominated for the player.
The player hater of the year.
And that's inspiration for you the next time the Oakland A's are down 12-0 in the bottom of the ninth. You got to believe that all things are possible.
No,
So there's
the A's can be up 7-0 in the ninth, and I still think they're going to lose it.
I do too. Usually when I'm watching it.
I've been surprised they won the last 3. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And they swept the Yanks, so I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Anyways, so you've got the Miracle on Ice, Chuckles.
I also had one that Dan had earlier. It was my number 1 is Jesse Owens. It's always been Jesse Owens ever since I was a kid. He was the greatest Olympic athlete that I've ever known since I was a kid, and I don't think anyone would surpass that. And the only thing I would probably add is the amount of civil rights stuff he was dealing with in his own country, and then to represent his own country, and then go over there and go to a country that would hate him even more than his own country.
Yeah,
and he was dating both ends. He was dealing with hate, and he
and to
still
do all that and
persevered.
come back and not get invited to the White House.
Yeah, no, exactly, and he persevered.
Who's the
And
president then?
you could argue to say that
36.
Yeah, it was
Jesse,
FDR.
Yeah.
you could argue to
Well,
say
yeah,
Reason not to like him.
Yeah, most inclusive president. Yeah, okay.
but you could argue to say that Jesse Owens did more than some soldiers did.
as far as morale.
Yeah, certainly
Oh,
morale,
yeah.
certainly.
and make a message or piss off the Germans.
Just for a message to
Yeah.
the world and the
It's
country
like
as a
we
whole.
are America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's easy. It's easier for a celebrity who does something like that to be thought of in a higher regard as soldiers, because other than people you're related to, name a soldier.
Yeah, but mind you,
Captain
Jesse
America.
Owens was going to Germany,
Steve Rogers.
where he was still a black man in the United States in the 1930s.